400 years. That is how long the children of Israel had been slaves in Egypt. Not a generation, not a lifetime. 400 years of chains, whips, and forced labor under the most powerful empire on earth. And God had heard every cry. Pharaoh, afraid of the growing Hebrew population, issued an order. Every Hebrew baby boy, thrown into the Nile. A Hebrew woman named Jochebed looked at her son and saw that he was beautiful. She hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she made a basket of papyrus reeds, coated it with tar and pitch, placed her baby inside, and set it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. Pharaoh's own daughter found him. She opened the basket, saw the crying baby, and felt sorry for him. She knew immediately, this is one of the Hebrew babies. His sister stepped forward. "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" Pharaoh's daughter said yes, and Miriam ran and brought the baby's own mother. The very decree meant to kill him placed him in the palace. The very river meant to be his grave carried him to safety. His name was Moses, meaning drawn out of the water. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's household, educated, powerful, a prince of Egypt. But he never forgot who he was. One day he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. He looked around. He saw no one. And he killed the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. The next day, 2 Hebrews were fighting. Moses stepped in, and one of them said, "Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?" Pharaoh found out and tried to kill Moses. Moses fled, the prince of Egypt, running into the wilderness with nothing. He ended up in Midian, a fugitive, a man without a country. He married. He had a son. He became a shepherd, tending the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro in the wilderness. For 40 years, the man who grew up in a palace spent 40 years in the desert with sheep. God was not wasting those years. Moses was tending the flock near Horeb, the mountain of God, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that the bush was on fire, but it did not burn up. He said, "I will go over and see this strange sight." God called out from the bush, "Moses, Moses, here I am." He said, God said, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Moses hid his face. He was afraid to look at God. And God said, "I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them." 400 years of silence. And God says, "I heard every cry. So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people the Israelites out of Egypt." Moses had objections. 5 of them. "Who am I to go to Pharaoh? What do I tell them your name is? What if they don't believe me? I am slow of speech. Please send someone else." God answered everyone, "I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent you. I will be with you. Take this staff, and watch what I can do with it." Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh. They said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go." Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey him and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." Then came the plagues. Water turned to blood, frogs, lice, flies, disease on the livestock, boils, hail, locusts. 3 days of complete darkness so thick it could be felt. 10 times, Moses stood before Pharaoh. 10 times, Pharaoh said no. 10 times, God made it clear, "There is no power on earth that can hold my people." Then came the final plague. God said, "At midnight I will pass through Egypt. Every firstborn son will die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh on his throne to the firstborn of the slave girl. But for the Hebrews, a lamb, slaughtered, its blood painted on the doorframes. When the Lord sees the blood, he will pass over." That night, Egypt wailed. There was not a house without someone dead. Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in the night and said, "Up, leave my people, you and the Israelites. Go, Worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and herds and go. 600,000 men, plus women and children, walked out of Egypt. 400 years of slavery ended in one night. But Pharaoh changed his mind. He took 600 of his best chariots and pursued the Israelites. The people of Israel look, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified. The sea in front, an army behind. They cried out to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die?" And Moses said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind all that night, and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided. The Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them into the sea. But God threw the Egyptian army into confusion. Their chariot wheels came off. They said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them." Too late. Moses stretched out his hand, and the sea swept back. It covered the chariots and the horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh. Not one of them survived. When the Israelites saw the mighty hand of God displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in him. And Moses and the Israelites sang, "I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea. The most powerful empire on earth could not hold them. Not with chains, not with whips, not with 600 chariots and the best army in the ancient world. Because when God decides to move his people, nothing stands in the way." The story of Moses is not really about a man with a staff. It is about a God who sees suffering, who hears every cry, who counts every year, and who, in the fullness of time, moves. If you are in a season that feels like 400 years, remember, he heard them the whole time. He sees you too. Subscribe for the next story. More is coming.